Good day, welcome back to tuition2u.com. You are now with V. Sundram in Biology SPM. Currently, our series of videos, we are discussing trial papers of year 2022. The first trial paper we discussed is Sekolah Berasrama Penuh SBP. We have completed all the structure questions. We are now starting with the first essay question. So, let's see how easy or how hard or difficult is the essay question. So, let's start. So read every statement. So the first thing that we have to do is question A. So diagram 9.1 shows plant X and plant Y. So obviously you can see this is a carrot plant and this is a mango plant. We can identify the mango in this plant. So the first question is state the type of plant X and plant Y based on the life cycle. So the clue given is you have to depend on, it must be based on life cycle, and they just ask us to give the name. So if you want for the clues, we have question 2 and we have question B and also question C. If you look at question C, they already mentioned it's an annual plant, so that gives you a clue. So annual plant is one of the names. Besides annual plant, what are the other two plants that you learn? You learn biennial plant, you learn perennial plant. So plant X is a biennial plant. If you see carrot, it's a biennial plant. If you see a mango tree, it is a perennial plant. The names I'll show you after this. So you identify based on the life cycle, it's considered 2 marks. This is something new in the syllabus. This annual plant, biennial plant, perennial plant in the old syllabus don't have. This detailed explanation of 3 types of plant don't have in the old syllabus. So consider this is new question. So you have identified. You see carrot is a biennial plant. You see a mango tree, it's a perennial plant. So you give the name, you get 2 marks. Question 2 is explain the characteristic of plant X. They are only interested with characteristic of plant X. What I'm going to do for all the essay question is I'm just going to show you what is in the textbook. You write back what's in the textbook, you're going to get your full marks. As easy as that. Just write back what's in the textbook. So if you go to your textbook and you find the explanation for biennial plant. So this is the explanation you have for biennial plant. And if I make this a bit larger, earlier you identify plant X is biennial plant. In case you want explanation for it, you identify the plant. If you need explanation, plant X is a carrot plant, it is a biennial plant. If you need explanation, the question only asks us to state, so we don't have to explain. But if you want, let's say there is a question, explain what type of plant is this, you identify. This is a carrot plant, it is a biennial plant. That's 1 mark. What are the characteristics of biennial plants? So biennial plants which take 2 years or 2 seasons of growth to complete the life cycle, this is 1 mark. The second question asks us to explain the characteristic. You write what's in the textbook, you're going to get 1 mark. This plant takes 2 years or 2 seasons to complete its life cycle. The word bi means 2. The word bi here means 2. So biennial means 2 years or 2 seasons to complete the growth. That is 1 mark. If you say they take 2 years, if you say they take 2 seasons, we want to know first season what happened, second season what happened. So in the first growth season is known as the vegetative. Maybe I use different color. So the first growth season is known as the vegetative growth, in which the growth of the roots, leaf and stem occurs. Vegetative growth is the first year the plant grows. It forms when you think of a plant, leaf, stem, roots, all of them grow in the first season or in the first year. The second point, the second growth season is where the reproduction occurs. You have 3 sentences. Write any 2, you get your 2 marks. The first point is it is a plant that takes 2 seasons or 2 years to complete its life cycle. That is 1 mark. In the first year of growth or in the first season, the plant goes through growth. The stem, the root, the leaves grows. In the second season, the plant does reproduction. Fine. That is enough to get the 2 marks in here. So it's directly from the textbook. No need revision book. What's in the textbook, you write back, you get the 2 marks. So that 2 marks is easy. The other information that you have in the textbook, we just read through because we are also doing revision for exam. After going through vegetative growth, the plant briefly stops in winter. So take note, in winter they don't grow. So in winter they don't grow. The spring and summer they grow in preparation for reproduction by flowering. They will produce the fruit and seed. Eventually the plant will die. The example is cabbage, carrot and silver cockscomb. Your textbook has the picture of silver cockscomb. This is how it looks like. But normally, as you can see, carrot is the example that is given. So I repeat, biennial plant 1 mark, 2 years or 2 seasons to complete the life cycle 1 mark. First season grow, second season reproduce. When you say grow, plant, what do they have? Roots, leaves, stem. All of them grow in the first season. Second season they reproduce. They produce the flower, they produce the fruits, they produce the seeds, and then they die. Biennial plant. So that is biennial. If it's an annual plant, so if you check the textbook for the annual plant explanation, they complete the life cycle in 1 season. This is not in the question, but we are taking it as revision. So they have only 1 cycle or 1 season. Within 1 year, within 1 season, they grow, they reproduce, they die. So not much of an explanation. The easy example is a paddy plant. They complete the life cycle within 1 season. What this plant takes for 2 seasons, that plant 1 season. They grow in that 1 season, they reproduce in 1 season, they produce the flower, they reproduce, they produce the seed, they produce the fruit. The fruits are dispersed, the seeds are dispersed, the plant dies. That is annual plant. The biennial plant just separate into 2 seasons. The perennial plant explanation was not asked, but let's see how a perennial plant looks like. So the point is they live longer than 2 years. The name perennial is 1 mark from the earlier question. They have longer lifespan. Got 2 types, there is 2 category. The woody perennial plant, as you can see in the diagram, they are normally large size, or we also have herbaceous perennial plant. Because they live for many years, like the first 2, annual plant and biennial plant, they reproduce once only. Both reproduce once only, but annual plant do it within 1 season. Biennial plant, they take the second season to do reproduction. So 1 time only reproduction for both annual, biennial. For perennial plant, they can, because they live long, they can do many reproduction, multiple reproduction. So these plants are able to flower and bear fruit many times throughout their life cycle. These plants have adaptation, and the textbook mention its mango plant. Textbook mention mango plant. That is why exam question they give you mango plant. It will follow the textbook. You go and see revision book, what are the pictures they give you. They might give you some other picture. Textbook mention mango plant. The exam question use mango plant. The importance of textbook. What you have in the textbook is what comes out for exam. Take the revision book, put it aside. Don't use it. Use the textbook. So how many marks we have so far? So we have 4 marks. Biennial plant, perennial plant, complete the growth in 2 seasons or 2 years. First year grow, second year reproduce. That's keywords. Make it a complete sentence. Done. But I am also concerned, just to show you. In here, this is the answer we used. This part we use. We didn't use this, but if you note, the information you have in here is in winter they don't grow, in spring and summer they continue grow. It's for biennial. We didn't use this in this answer. Let's see whether we can use that in the next question. So let's look at the next question. So the next question is this. Diagram 9.2 shows cross section of a tree trunk in a temperate climate region. In case you don't know what is temperate, you can look at the BM version. Is beriklim sederhana, so temperate. So they mention the word kulit kayu, also known as bark in English. They explain how this pattern is formed, and they're giving you 6 marks. This is directly from the textbook. So this is known as annual rings. The annual rings are formed because this plant grows in area with 4 seasons. This was actually the clue for us. In winter they don't grow, in fall they don't grow, only in spring and summer they grow. This is for biennial, we can use it for perennial. It's 4 seasons, winter don't grow, fall don't grow, only in spring and summer grow. But the growth in spring is more than summer. Because the rate of growth is different, the annual ring that is produced, different color, different thickness. Easy 6 marks. So let's look at the answer you have in the textbook. I'm just going to show you what's in the textbook. Easy answer because we directly follow the textbook. So this is what you have in the textbook. It comes under bio exploration. So this is for formation of secondary xylem in spring and summer. Okay, let's see the points that we have. So they have annual rings in the stem. So the pattern is known as annual rings. In the cross section of the stem, the pattern that we see is annual rings. That's 1 mark. The name annual ring is 1 mark. Why does it happen? Because secondary growth happens at different rate according to season. That's 1 mark. You see, you just write back what's in the textbook. You get all your marks that you need. This is from the textbook. The next point. In spring, there is enough water, there is enough sunlight. The secondary xylem form is bigger and the wall is thinner. If you skip, if you want, you can add in enough water supply, enough sunlight. We put it in the answer. The secondary xylem is larger, bigger, because it's bigger, the wall is thinner. That means the tissue xylem that is formed in this season are brighter in color. Because the wall is thinner, it's brighter in color. The next season, what happens? The growth is unsuitable in summer because the temperature is very high. So the growth happens in summer but is lower rate of growth. Secondary growth happens but is lower rate. So formation of secondary xylem is smaller and thicker wall. That's 1 mark. So the xylem tissue are darker in color, another 1. Let's see how many points we have. So if I look at the points, annual ring is 1 mark. Growth rate is different at different season, 1 mark. In spring, the xylem is thinner and bigger, 1 mark. Brighter in color, 1 mark. In summer, secondary xylem is smaller, thicker wall, 1 mark. Darker in color, 1 mark. So how many red dots do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points. What do you have in here? 6 points. Ta-da! That is the answer. So directly from the textbook. All you have to do is mention this is secondary xylem formation, follows different rate in different season. You can actually add 1 more. It's not mentioned in here, you can add 1 more. In winter and fall, no secondary growth. That will give you another 1 mark. It's not mentioned in here. You can add that. If you write that, that's another 1 mark. In winter and fall, the rate of secondary growth is very low, or it doesn't happen. So no secondary xylem is formed in winter and fall. The rate of secondary growth, the rate of secondary xylem formation is different in different seasons. 1 mark. You mentioned what happens in spring, 2 to 3 marks. Explain what happens in summer, another 2-3 marks. Mention you get a pattern, alternating dark and light rings. Alternating dark and light rings are known as annual rings. Write back what's in the textbook. That's your 6 marks. Easy question. So consider this is directly from the textbook. 4 marks. This is directly from the textbook. 6 marks. The importance of textbook to make sure you can get full marks for the exam. Next question. Diagram 9.3 shows a growth curve of an annual plant. So they already asked you biennial. They already asked you perennial. So now we have a question. Growth curve of an annual plant. And they mention it's in dry mass, it's in week, and they divide into 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there is 4. Describe the stages P, Q, R, S. If you want, you can start by defining what is an annual plant. You can define what is an annual plant. A plant that completes its life cycle within 1 season or 1 year. Example is a paddy plant. It is there in the textbook. You can add it in if you want in the answer. It's an annual plant. It completes the growth life cycle within 1 season. Example is paddy plant. Done. Then you go straight into the graph. So you look at P, Q, R, S. Identify the name of all of the stages. Explain what happens in every stage. Where do we get the answer? From the textbook. So this is how this graph is explained in the textbook. So the first point that you need to provide, I'm just going to show you what's in the textbook. You write back. So the first point, this is a sigmoid curve. 1 mark. Stage A is decreasing dry mass stage. 1 mark. The food stored in cotyledon used for germination. That is 1 mark. If you want to explain further, before the leaves emerge to carry out photosynthesis, you can explain. The seed doesn't have leaf. They can't do photosynthesis. So they use the stored food in cotyledon to do germination. So as the stored food is used, the dry mass decreases. That's basically this part of the graph. Decreasing dry mass. That will give you, this explanation will give you 2 marks. Let's just take 2 marks for this. You can get more than 2, but let's say you take 2 marks. So the next explanation is stage B. What is stage B? Increasing dry mass. Actually, if you note, they already show you the name dry mass here. Observer student will realize the name dry mass already here. So what's happening in here? Dry mass decreasing. What's happening in here? Dry mass is increasing. That's the answer actually. It's an easy question. So what happens when the dry mass? What you told earlier? No leaf, no photosynthesis. What is the antonym of that answer? Let's look at this side. So what happens now? They have the leaf, they do photosynthesis. So the rate of growth increases, the dry mass increases. Do you realize the stage A opposite is stage B? Decreasing, increasing. No photosynthesis, have photosynthesis. Dry mass decrease, dry mass increase. Bonus, another 2 marks here. The third stage, C, is where you have constant dry mass. It is flat, constant dry mass. So the rate of growth is 0. The plant is already mature at this stage. No more growth in dry mass occurs. The plant, you see, this is the annual plant. What did you explain for biennial plant? They grow in the first season, they reproduce in the second season. All of that, it happens in one season for annual plant. So if you want, you can write here. The plant is ready to do reproduction. They do reproduction in this stage C. The plant has completed the growth. The plant is ready for reproduction. It does reproduction, produce the seed, produce the flower. Once the seeds are dispersed, stage D, decreasing dry mass. So the whole answer is dry mass. Decreasing, increasing, constant, decreasing again. Why decreasing at the end? It's aging. They have reproduced. Their job is done. They have grown, they have reproduced, they have produced the seed. Their job is done. That is what they grow to reproduce. Once they produce the seeds are dispersed, their job is done, they can die. So lower rate of photosynthesis, shedding of the leaf, the seeds are dispersed and the plant dies. Done. So to make this answer better, I will define what is an annual plant. I'll also give example of annual plant, which is paddy plant. So let's say the graph. Let's say that actually if I were to continue here, this is constant, here decreasing again. So the 4 arrows that I draw is 4 marks. Decreasing dry mass phase, increasing dry mass phase, constant dry mass phase, decreasing dry mass phase. That's already 4 marks. What happens? No photosynthesis, yes photosynthesis, already mature, reproduce, release the seed, leaf falls down and the plant dies. Let's say you take 8 marks here. What is annual plant? Definition 1 mark, example 1 mark. More than enough for you to get how many marks? 10 marks. Student who uses the textbook, depends on the textbook, is going to get the full mark. He knows what's in the textbook is the answer for the exam. Students who feel revision book is better, they buy revision book. One of the first things in my tuition, if the students are coming for my tuition, in the first class, you sir, what revision book to buy? I'll tell them straight, don't buy any revision book. Your textbook is more than enough. You read your textbook, you can get A+. You read revision book, you're gonna get B or C, because there is unnecessary information in the revision book. Textbook is enough. Make your life easy. Why you want to make your life complicated? Read the textbook, and I'm showing you I completed 20 marks essay just by using the textbook. I didn't need any extra information. I didn't need to show the examiner that I know more than other students. They are only interested in what's in the textbook. Give them that. Make your life easy. At the moment, just provide what is needed from the textbook. You get your 20 marks. So you need to write only one essay. We haven't looked at question 10. Question 9 already get full